How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Highway Blossoms. The last episode, all the characters were out and sightseeing over at the Grand Canyon, and now it's time to get back on the treasure hunt grind. And our main heroines decided to stop at a diner because I guess they want to eat. I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure it's morning, so it makes sense. But anyways, let us continue on and see what's going to go on in this one. There's a seat yourself sign up near the front, along with a stack of menus. I grabbed 2 off the top.
Do you need a kid's menu? With the crayons?
I'm just teasing her more, but her face lights up.
Oh, they have those? Yeah, give me one.
Mentally face-palming, I also take a coloring sheet and cup of crayons. We find a booth by the window near the middle of the restaurant, between a family of 4 and a couple around our age. It might be the only empty spot in the whole place. While I look over the breakfast specials, Marina eagerly begins to color. She's got a dark green, 2 shades of red, a blue, and a yellow crayon. Of course, they're worn down to being practically round on the bottoms, which makes it hard for her to stay inside the lines. When I shift my legs, I accidentally bump the table with my foot and cause her to make a large green streak across the personified eggs she was coloring.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay. What is it they say? There are no mistakes in art, just happy accidents?
Something like that. Why green?
Do you not see what I'm coloring here? Sam I Amber?
I groan aloud at her awful joke. I'm saved from more of them by the arrival of the same waitress who greeted us. Her white uniform is stained with jelly and ketchup and who knows what else.
Can I get you girls something to drink?
I'll have some chocolate milk, please.
Her already questionable maturity suffers another blow. With the crayons in her hand, I'm not sure it can stand to take any more hits.
And for you?
Just coffee. No cream or sugar.
You got it.
When she walks away, I nudge Marina with my foot.
Chocolate milk? Seriously? Are you 8?
Mimicking my voice, Marina shakes her shoulders.
Black coffee? Seriously? Are you 40?
Hey now, I like the taste of coffee itself.
And I like the taste of milk itself, just with chocolate.
You're a dork.
But you love me.
I feel really awkward here. I don't know, I brought this up before, but it's weird with English voice actors, and I feel like it's going to get even weirder because these 2 characters are more than likely going to be in one of those Yuri relationships. So it's going to feel like I'm a third wheel for the rest of the game, and I don't know how I'm going to accept that. She chimes back in a sing-song voice. I know what she means, but it still causes a small lump to form in my throat. I swallow, trying to pretend that she didn't hit a little too close to me. Or to home, excuse me. I watch her while she goes back to coloring. Human breakfast hybrids. Her lips are pursed in concentration, and there's a little gleam of white as she bites the edge of one. She seems she's really focused. Surprisingly, she mostly manages to stay inside the lines of the pictures. Rather than trying to use the dull tips, she switched to the flat, round ends, using the edge for more precision. It's kind of working. Without looking up, she starts to chat again.
So, where do we start looking today, Captain?
Oh, you finally acknowledge me as captain then, huh?
I figured you deserve a turn. Just this once.
Thanks. I'll try not to let you down. Anyway, I have no idea.
You said you think it's by one of the arches, right?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't really narrow it down.
Pausing her coloring, she looks up at me.
It doesn't?
Nah. Have you ever seen any pictures of the park?
A couple, I guess. I don't know much about it, though.
Well, they named the park after the arches since there were so many of them. Probably hundreds.
Seriously?
Yeah, some are more famous than others. Let's see. There's Windstone Arch and Double Arch. Those are some of the more famous ones. You've probably seen pictures of those, even if you don't know it. But there are a ton of lesser-known ones too, and for all we know, the treasure could be at one of them that doesn't even have a name.
So we're screwed.
Probably. But that doesn't mean we're giving up.
Marina nods in satisfaction, either at my words or the slice of blue ham she just finished
I
coloring.
don't want to lose twice in a row, so I figure we'll go and look around and see if there are any clues. Maybe watch what other people are doing and thinking.
Marina nods along, but she has a zoned out look that tells me she's not really listening, rather she seems to be staring past me. I turn, trying to figure out what might be attracting her attention. There's nothing except for other groups eating. I make awkward eye contact with the old lady right beside us, and I quickly face forward.
Hello? Inspecting the walls?
My words seem to break the spell.
Huh?
You totally spaced out there.
Oops, yeah. Sorry, I just started thinking.
Before I can ask her what about, our waitress returns. Our drinks are balanced on a tray alongside a few other guests. Marina's chocolate milk comes in an enormous tin cup that's the size of my forearm. And there's an entire pot of coffee for me. She sets them down on the table between us.
You girls ready to order?
Whoops, I haven't looked through the menu once. I flipped through it real quick, settling on a standard meal.
You good?
Marina nods.
I'll have the gentleman's breakfast with bacon, eggs over medium, and sourdough toast.
And for you?
I'll have the chocolate chip pancake platter with scrambled eggs.
You want the kids' meal or the regular?
I choke on my drink as I laugh. I feel Marina's foot crash against my leg. Whimpering at that, and the dribble of coffee on my chin, I massage my shin underneath the table. Marina frowns at me, and the waitress gives me a strange look. And then the typical angelic expression returns as Marina places her order.
The regular, please and thanks.
We'll have that out for you pretty soon.
Once again, she heads back to the kitchen, heels clicking against the tile floor. When she's out of sight, Marina begins a flurry of kicks to my shins. Though these ones aren't hard enough to hurt, scurrying backwards in my seat, I draw my legs up closer to me.
Rude! Rude, rude, rude!
Come on, you were asking for it with the food and the milk. The waitress asking that was just the icing on the cake. The pancake.
It's not my fault you sophisticated adults don't appreciate chocolate like I do.
You have a bigger sweet tooth than anyone I've ever met. Seriously, how many cavities have you had?
None. I brush my teeth twice a day, every day. The last time I went to the dentist, he said my teeth were so shiny he could see his reflection in them.
And when was that?
She thinks about it for a minute.
Maybe 3 years?
That doesn't count anymore then.
When was the last time you had chocolate milk?
Now I have to think about that. I don't drink a whole lot of milk to begin with. And as for chocolate, I've actually never had chocolate milk in my life. I'm not much of a milk drinker. I used to have it with like cereal, and that would be the full extent of it. But now I can't. It actually really upsets my gut. So I don't drink milk anymore. At all. It's kind of sad.
Maybe when I was a little kid? I don't know.
Amber, you poor, poor thing.
She slides her giant cup towards me, some sloshing over the sides in her haste.
Try it.
Dredges of milk surround the rim of the cup from Marina's sipping. Across from me she waits, looking eager. I'm surprised she's not bouncing like normal. After sighing exaggeratedly, I pick up the cup and down a large gulp, trying not to think silly cliche thoughts about indirect kisses. To my surprise, the drink is really good. It's got a deeper, rich flavor than the stuff you get in jugs at the store. I can tell that they made it themselves in the kitchen. It's not overwhelmingly sweet. In fact, it's perfect. Damn, I don't know if I'm disappointed or not, giving her the satisfaction of being right. My pride aches. As I push the cup back towards Marina, she receives it with a sly smirk.
So?
She draws out the word, already knowing my answer.
It wasn't bad.
And that's all I'm willing to concede. She laughs and takes another huge sip. After setting the cup down, she has a thick milk mustache on her upper lip. I watch with inappropriate fascination as her tongue comes out and cleans it away. Marina grabs the sheet she was coloring and then pushes that over to me as well.
Wanna color something? While you're acting like a kid and all.
I roll my eyes but snatch away the crayons that she offers. Most of the pictures, well, all of them breakfast foods with faces and dated outfits, have already been colored in. There's a stylish looking piece of bread with a dress and a wig that's still blank though. I color the dress with the green crayon as lightly as I can and use the lighter shade of red for the hair. When I'm done, I hold up the page to show Marina.
It's you.
She leans in.
Huh?
The colors. Look, you're toast.
She collapses backwards as if my pun physically wounded her. She shakes her head and looks down while I crack up.
That was even worse than Sam I Amber.
Uh-huh. You better step up your game some.
Please, stop.
Yes, please. I don't plan to. The only thing that saves her is the arrival of our waitress right then. That's pretty fast service considering how busy this place is. Keeping in style with our oversized beverages, the portions are enormous. The plate that Marina's pancakes are served on is so large it looks like it could have been used as a shield back in medieval times, and the pancakes form a tower that's probably half a foot tall. My own meal arrives on 4 separate plates. Though they're all smaller than Marina's, we have to scramble and move our drinks around just to make room. There's hardly any empty space.
Can I get you girls anything else?
Marina shakes her head, but I look down at the table as I mumble,
Can I get a glass of chocolate milk, please?
"Oof." As the waitress departs yet again, I glance over, prepared for the inevitable teasing. But instead, Marina just stares at her food, dumbstruck.
Maybe I should have gotten the kid size.
Yeah, sometimes it be like that. I finish about half my meal before the dismay sets in. There's no way I can possibly finish this. Most people I know couldn't eat this much food in one sitting. Every bite is a struggle. Marina's faring similarly. The plate of eggs is nearly untouched, just because there's so much pancake to work through. And I can tell that pancake fatigue, the feeling when you get halfway through them and then realize you're sick of pancakes, has long since set in for her. She cuts off a bite, looks at it for a while, then sets her fork down.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, you and me both.
The largest plate I have consists of a mess of potatoes, cheese and bacon, and the eggs laid over it. And then of course there was the toast, fruit and sausage, which each got their own smaller plate. I'd have ordered from the kids menu too if I'd known this was how it would be.
I don't think I'll ever want pancakes again.
For once, I don't have any snarky remarks. Anyone would be sick of them after what she just went through.
We'll get some boxes to go. At least we'll have food for a week now if we ever get stranded.
Oh yay. After our waitress brings us our bill in styrofoam containers, we head back out to the RV. It looks like traffic hasn't gotten much better in the 45 minutes that we've been out of it. Cars are still pressed bumper to bumper. The sidewalks are also full, with swarms of pedestrians making better time than the traffic. I wonder if it's always this busy, or if people are just deciding not to drive. Probably the latter. Once we're ready to go, I take us over to the edge of the parking lot. As expected, the constant stream of cars makes it impossible for us to get out. I watch impatiently for an opening in traffic, but can't see one for miles.
Oh, come on!
I press my forehead to the steering wheel. We've been sitting here for minutes now.
Is there another exit we could use? Onto a different street?
I look and check the mirrors, but don't see anything. The edges of the diner's properties are surrounded by a cream-colored fence.
Nope.
I've been in a situation like that before. It was awful. It felt like I was there for hours. But I wasn't. It was like minutes. Marina begins to sigh, but that quickly turns into a sound of surprise.
Amber, look!
She points past my face and out the window. An older lady in a little hatchback sedan has stopped to let us out. The two of us wave at her as we finally lumber onto the road itself.
Yay! I'm glad somebody was nice at least.
Yeah, still a long way to go, though.
The long line of cars extends as far as I can see, before it finally goes out of sight beyond a bend in the road.
Why do you think it's so much busier here than the other places we've been?
Arches is one of the most popular national parks. Like, when you think of parks in the US, you think of Arches and the Grand Canyon and Yosemite. That kind of thing.
I never thought Arches, but I definitely thought of the latter too.
So I think a lot of people will be at those big spots.
Think it'll be like Shiprock again?
What, with the megaphone and law enforcement?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Probably not. These parks are a lot bigger and more spread out. Way harder to have people watching. The only option would be straight up close.
And then you have horrible people who sneak in and out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Who would ever do that?
Yeah, who would pull that sort of criminal shit?
Nobody we know, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right.
It's okay. Once we're filthy rich, we can make a donation to the canyon or something.
Let's just buy the canyon and pay to have everything reconstructed.
Perfect.
They think they're getting that rich, huh? Alright. It takes a while, but we finally make it past all of the stoplights. After that, it's still slow going, but at least it's steady. Maybe 15 minutes past crawling through town before things start to pick up. Still a couple miles away, I can finally see the exit for the park itself. Some people continue past, staying on the highway, but most are in line for Arches. At least there's a whole lane for people like us. Traffic is congested like my nose in winter, but the end is in sight.
May as well get comfy. We're gonna be here a while.
Taking my advice, Marina leans back and props her feet up on the dash. Her dress bunches up by her knees, leaving most of her legs exposed. I sneak a few guilty glances from the corner of my eye. If I didn't know better, I'd think all that skin she shows was intentional. But it's Marina, which means she's not even conscious about this stuff. For me, or me for that matter, I wonder if she knows that I'm into her. To distract myself, I grabbed the box of tapes. I kept the music off earlier so that Marina could sleep.
Wanna pick this time?
Sure.
Settling it in her lap, she begins to rummage through the bin. I'm pretty sure that she knows all of the music I have by now. We've listened to every tape at least once, and I have an okay feel for what she likes and what she doesn't. Sometimes she taps her fingers to the beat of or hums along when she likes what we're listening to. If she doesn't, she flat out ignores it. The one she settles on is an album of instrumental folk songs, very stereotypical Western sounding. It's a little high energy for just sitting still in traffic, but that's alright. It's better than nothing. We just listen to the music, which I've cranked up loud while we wait. Excuse me. The album is nearly half over by the time we finally make it through the park gates. Beyond them, traffic mercifully lets up some. Not because there are fewer cars. There are more cars than rocks to be seen. But a lot of those are pulled off onto the shoulder or cramped into parking lots. Nearly every inch of pavement that doesn't have a car on it has a person instead. Also, there are different trails and forks in the road, so not everyone is going in the same direction now. Being able to drive without having to tap the brakes every couple seconds is a relief. A pickup truck towing a trailer pulls off the shoulder ahead and back onto the road, so I take a spot. Pulling it in park, I take a swig of stone-cold coffee.
Wanna grab the pamphlets?
We snagged a couple of brochures back at the diner. They don't have a whole lot of info, but they're a starting point. Marina retrieves them and spreads them out on the table like puzzle pieces. Alongside them is the journal. Its spine has lost all strength and the pages just flop around.
So, the journal says that it's buried between two things.
Right, but something out of the way.
Peering out the windshield and to the expanses beyond, there's a lot that could be considered out of the way.
It'd have to be something memorable. Or else he'd come back and have no idea where to go.
And anything memorable is probably gonna be something popular, right?
Exactly, yeah.
She flips through some of the pamphlets. They all have the same information on the same landmarks, just with slightly different pictures.
Wait,
She was about to toss one of them, but it catches my eye.
hand me that.
Marina passes over the brochure, and I turn to one of the inner pages. It has only one picture and a longer paragraph of text. I read aloud.
One of the most famous landmarks in all of the park, Double Arch is a fan favorite. Recognizable for its 2 elegant curves, Double Arch can be accessed via a short hike and is open to exploration.
I hold up the flyer so she can see the picture. It's of 2 huge arches of stone, connected at one side but otherwise perpendicular from each other. She snatches it out of my hands for a closer look, nearly cutting my fingers.
Oh my god, you think it's between the 2 of these?
That makes sense, right? You definitely remember how it looks, and it's kind of out of the way.
The papers whiz past my face as Marina hurls them backwards as she points forward.
Choo-choo, full steam ahead!
Off we go, I suppose. I throw the RV back into drive and pull out onto the road again. There are signs everywhere for Double Arch, so we don't need the map that we got at the gate. We pass signs for other landmarks too, some with pretty weird names. There's the Parade of Elephants, for one thing, which is in the same direction as Ham Rock. There's even a phallic-sounding rock simply called the Organ. All of those are down exits we don't take. Instead, we soon end up in the back of yet another traffic jam. Marina stares out the window as we creep along. Where we are right now is nearly indistinguishable from the highways we've spent so much time on. There are a few actual arches around, but none distinct enough to get any real attention. Inch by inch, we advance down the road until we finally come to the parking lot for Double Arch. Only problem is, it's totally full. Not just busy, but packed. Every parking spot is taken, with a few cars jammed into empty space that's clearly not meant for that. Like lice, people swarm up and down the arch itself, visible even from the road. At least this time it isn't off limits.
Looks like everyone else had the same idea.
Don't sound so glum. We can still go take a look.
If we can ever find somewhere to park.
Yeah, that is a pretty big if.
The entire caravan passes by the parking lot. There's at least a dozen cars behind me, too. Maybe half a mile up the road, we come across another lot.
Up for a bit of walking?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to at this point. I quickly take one of the remaining spaces. There are a few openings here. Looks like most people weren't as willing to walk as Marina is. Some of the cars behind us pull in, too. We opt to leave the metal detector and the other equipment in the RV for now. If we see anything that looks promising, we can come back and grab it. The walk back up to Double Arch doesn't take long, and it's nice to be outdoors again. We have to stick to the very edge of the road to avoid the stream of cars flowing towards us. Seems there was more than a dozen behind us after all. There's a short hike from the Double Arch parking lot to the arch itself. It's an easy one, and we don't even break a sweat. Up close, it's obvious that there aren't many people here just to see the sights. Almost everyone is carrying a shovel or other tool. There's a pair of park rangers watching, but they don't seem to be intervening at all. They just slouch against a wooden fence, looking defeated.
Can you imagine how big of celebrities we'd be if anyone here knew we found the shipwreck treasure?
I whispered as quietly as I can to Marina.
Right? I was thinking about that earlier. I kinda wanted to show off, but that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like anyone would believe us anyway. But you don't want to have your face all over the New York Times as one of the girls who found the treasure?
Being in the local newspaper is on my bucket list.
Hate to break it to you, but that's not a local newspaper. Dream big, Marina.
And my friends from school would totally have a heart attack when they found out. But don't they always say to keep it a secret if you win the lottery?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, people will never leave you alone. You'll get all sorts of messages from people you used to know or long-lost relatives.
I have enough not lost relatives to deal with. Plus, I don't want to get kidnapped and held for ransom or something like that. What about you?
No way. I'm just gonna quietly retreat into one of my 3 mansions when all this is over.
Oh, you're only gonna buy 3?
Yeah, gotta save the rest for my 14 new motorhomes after all.
She giggles.
Do I get to drive one of them?
Why not? but you could buy your own, you know.
No way! I'll just come bother you if I need one.
We've gotten as close to the arches as we can. The mob of sweaty people is too thick for us to push our way through. There are dozens of people sweeping over the dusty ground with metal detectors. Hanging back around the edge, Marina's smile fades away quickly.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mess.
People jostle and push each other out of the way. It's hard to believe anyone is actually prospecting so much as they are just trying not to lose their spot.
Maybe we should come back later?
I don't know if it'll be any better later, but maybe.
I guess. Though if the treasure is here, I feel like someone would have found it by now.
Just like back at Canyon de Chelly.
You know, this must have been going on for a few days now.
Yeah.
All the enthusiasm she had just a minute ago when we were joking around has evaporated in the desert sun. A rock skips past my foot as she kicks it at the dirt. I poke her and she yelps in surprise.
Hey now, I'm not saying we give up. I'm just saying we regroup and strategize. We can go see the rest of the park in the meantime. Didn't you say you've wanted to see this place for a while?
Yeah, I guess.
It's obvious that she's still bummed, but there's nothing I can do about that. Once we're back in the motorhome, we leave the busy main road ASAP and spend a while seeing the sights from our air-conditioned comfort. Marina's mood improves steadily throughout the day, counteracted only by our growing hunger. As we pull back into Moab, we're both ravenous.
Wanna just heat up our leftovers? Guessing that's a no.
I'm not ready for pancakes again yet. I need a day or maybe a week.
Let me know if you see somewhere you want me to stop.
Now that it's approaching evening, there aren't any more massive traffic jams going through Moab. We can cruise through at a steady pace, just like when we first got into Arches. Till I slam on the brakes.
You're kidding me.
Marina had been slouching, but bolts upright at the sudden stop.
What happened?
Just a few feet ahead, in the parking lot of the diner we ate at this morning, is Mariah's motorhome.
Look at that. It's them.
I point, and Marina leans forward. When she recognizes their RV, she grins.
Should we go see them?
No.
What? No way! That's extra reason to avoid that place.
But Amber, maybe we could see about teaming up for the treasure here or something.
That'd never happen. Mariah would rather lose every time than have our help. Besides, it's not like...
Please?
Already giving up in my head, I give Marina one last desperate look.
Seriously?
Yeah, even if we don't team up, it'd be nice to see them again.
Not sure if nice is the word I'd use.
Despite my muttering, I flick on my blinker and change lanes, pulling into the parking lot yet again. And we're back, and this is where we'll end this. We'll end where we started, I suppose. But anyways, thank you for watching this one, guys. And yep, I decided to record in the middle of the night again. It's probably the latest that I've recorded. It would seem so. For this playthrough, this is indeed the latest. I am extremely tired. But thank you for watching. 420 Blaze It. And I guess I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.